Welcome back to Amazingly Average, the show with advice for amazingly average authors and actors. My name is John, and last week I finally got my first professional headshots. And I finished reshooting scenes for the film I was in back in June, and then I chopped all my hair off. Tonight's episode of Scream was titled When a Stranger Calls. There's an original and a remake to this movie, but we're just going to talk about the urban legend first of all. The urban legend goes, there's a babysitter and she puts the children to bed. She goes back downstairs and gets a phone call, and on the other end there's a voice that says, "Have you checked on the children?" She goes upstairs and she either finds the children missing, the children are perfectly fine in bed, or there's this bloody mess and the children have been butchered. There's different versions of this story in the way that it ends. I've heard one version where it was just a prank phone call by her friend or boyfriend or something. There's another one where the babysitter never makes it out of the house and the killer gets her. There's another one where the police show up just in time and arrest the killer. Pretty much any way you can spin the story, it's been told. It also varies what the weapon is. Sometimes it's a baseball bat, sometimes it's a knife. We start this episode where the last one left off. Emma and Audrey are sitting in the back of a police car. It drives off, and as it's going down the road, they see the Brandon James masked killer in the road. They swerve out of the way to miss it. The rookie cop gets out of the car and gets stabbed all over the place. The killer leans into the car. Audrey and Emma are like backed up in a corner. And then the killer holds up a knife, and then a moment later, they hold up the keys to the handcuffs, drop the keys in the car, and vanishes. The two of them uncuff themselves and flee the scene. Emma ends up taking the gun. We jump to the hospital where Kristen Lang and Sheriff Acosta are having a conversation. Kristen Lang says that there's a psychotic disorder where one delusion person ends up imprinting that delusion on another person, so she suspects that Emma's delusion from all of the trauma she faced last year has been shared with Audrey, so they live in this shared delusional world where they've murdered a bunch of people. Emma and Audrey show up in a gas station. The cashier says, "Is one of you Emma?" and then gives them a phone. On the other end is the killer saying, "You must feel like a star," and that if they turn themselves in, someone low level will get gutted. Gustavo shows up at Brooke's house, and she seems very cool as a cucumber about the fact that her father died. She says, "Why haven't you answered any of my texts or calls?" He says that he just hasn't been able to go home, looking very sketchy. Gustavo expresses his concern, thinking that Audrey is the killer, and Brooke throws him out of her house. Emma and Audrey finally make it to Kieran's house. Emma tells Kieran that they're thinking of hiding out in the movie theater. Emma and Audrey wait just outside Kieran's window and overhear a conversation between Eli and Kieran. Eli saying he's been questioned by the cops for the last 3 hours. Kieran says that he told them that he thinks Eli is suspicious, and then Eli says something along the lines of, "Try and stop me." I forget what he was talking about. Emma and Audrey pull up to the movie theater, and Audrey knows where the spare keys are hidden because she used to work there. Brooke shows up at the hospital and visits Noah. She finally opens up and breaks down a little bit about her father. "He always made me juice." Brooke Maddox, 2016. Once at the movie theater, Emma calls Noah. She and Noah are trying to make a battle plan about what to do. She says for Noah and Brooke to stay put in the hospital after Brooke expresses that, "Yes, Emma, I know you couldn't have killed my father." Then Brooke and Noah go to the movie theater anyway. In typical Scream fashion, everyone splits up, everyone goes where they're not supposed to go, nobody stays where it's safe. Once all of them are in the movie theater, all the doors are locked up. Emma, Audrey, and Noah, maybe Brooke as well, are all standing in this common area. They get a phone call again. Kieran is nowhere to be seen. Emma is livid with the killer at this point, so she tells him, "I dare you to come get me," and then hangs up. And Audrey's like, "Was that a good idea?" And yes, Audrey, it was not a good idea. Everybody has some weird weapons. Emma has the gun. Brooke has the fish hook from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Kieran has a hammer. Audrey has what looks like a machete. Even though they're all in the same building, for some reason they keep calling each other to have a conversation. After this dare, guess who shows up to the movie theater? Gustavo. Gustavo shows up just outside the glass, right in front of Brooke and Noah, just like Seth Branson did at the end of last season. He's like, "Let me in." He pounds angrily against the glass, and then Brooke says no. And he goes away angrily. Probably for the best, because Gustavo probably would have gotten killed. Noah theorizes that there are probably 2 killers, that Piper's accomplice probably found another accomplice, so they're kind of hinting that there needs to be a plot twist here. There are screams heard throughout the movie theater. Everybody runs into the theater, except Audrey, who's left behind in a room for some reason. And the movie that's playing is a montage of everybody's deaths over the season. They show Seth Branson, Zoe, Eddie Kruger. Kieran leaves to go get Audrey. Emma leaves the group and says that she's gonna go turn off the projector, which she might have been doing this for group morale, but is a really stupid move in the long run. But you know what? She runs up, turns off the projector, and goes back into the theater, and absolutely nothing has happened to her. Kind of like a fake out. Before Emma's able to make it back to the room, Noah freaks out when the movie projector is turned off. Brooke takes out her cell phone light and is trying to shine it around to get a look. And then the killer shows up right in front of Brooke, stabs her so many times in the back because it was so fast, we know Brooke isn't dead. Because they really like to draw out these deaths. Emma goes out to chase the killer. She doesn't find him. She comes back and Noah and Kieran are both tending to Brooke. At the sound of police sirens coming, Kieran insists that Emma flees the scene, and Brooke, even though she's bleeding, also says that Emma needs to leave. So we know that Brooke is going to be okay. Kieran and Noah accompany Brooke to the hospital. Kieran is talking to Emma on the phone, and his hand is still covered in blood, and this was such obvious foreshadowing. There is blood on his hands. He has to be guilty of something. Gustavo appears at the hospital, sees Brooke, and then he cries. This is very uncharacteristic for him because he expresses everything through drawing and not through actual emotions. His father sits down next to him and puts a hand on his knee trying to comfort his son. Sheriff Acosta tells Noah that if he has any leads on Emma or Audrey's whereabouts, he needs to tell him right now. But Noah insists that there is another suspect and then shows him the picture of Eli from Will's funeral. Emma is hiding out in Brooke's car. She gets a Snapchat from the killer of Audrey being tied up, just like Kieran was tied up in the carnival. Emma breaks into this house that has hollyhocks written on the side of it. I'm pretty sure this is the same place where the party was held several episodes ago where Haley was murdered. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is because it's also the same place where Kristen Lang and Piper Shaw grew up. Emma and Kieran have a phone call. Kieran is like, "Where are you?" And Emma says, "I'm not going to tell you. I don't want anyone else to get hurt because of me. I love you." And they hang up. Emma gets a call from the killer saying something like, "You're never going to be safe again." Emma finds Audrey chained up, and then Kieran pops up out of nowhere and he says, "Oh, I tracked you from your phone or whatever." How has the killer been tracking everybody? Through their phone. How has Noah been hacked? Probably through his phone. Now I'm going to show you the live reaction of me and my friend Gretchen reacting to this part of the episode. Noah does another podcast and he talks about how are any of us ever meant to recover from this reveal. We were all shocked by this. It's revealed in a montage that Kristen Lang was writing a book called The Maddest of Two. She starts to write it out like A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Kieran is in jail and then he gets a phone call that says, "Who told you you were allowed to wear my mask?" Hinting that there is another person involved. We had Scream After Dark once more and then we have a revelation. You remember when 2 episodes of Scream got cut from this season? Apparently there's going to be another episode that's going to air in October. And we got a sneak peek from it. There are 2 cops walking Kieran into a jail cell. Maybe he killed him with his looks. He looks more like a movie star, which might be a reference to what Brandon James's mom was talking about back in season 1 when Emma and Piper went to visit her. Kieran walks into his cell. He hears noises from above him, looks up, and above the steel caging, there's the Brandon James killer there. Alright, and now it's time for the killer prediction. Kieran. But there's another person. I'm going to say that this person might actually be Brandon James, because Brandon James might not have died. We saw in these flashbacks that he was alive and well and rushed into the woods, and we see a bit in the episode where Maggie goes back to the tree where she and Brandon James exchanged all those notes, and her note, "Leave her alone," is stabbed into the tree with blood on it. Well, there you have it, folks. That is the second to last recap. Hopefully I'm able to watch the episode. I'm hoping to move to Canada. I might be a couple days late doing a recap for it. It's been great. Thanks for watching all these recaps. Next week I'm going to put up a blooper reel from all the recaps. And for everybody that subscribed to my channel because I did these Scream recaps, this isn't my usual content. I actually create my own original web content. It's an advice show for amazingly average authors and actors. And then I do a sketch at the end of each month. If you don't want to watch that, it's okay. I won't be mad at you if you unsubscribe from my channel. Thanks for being here for however long you've been here. Thanks for watching, for saying nice things. And it's not going to be next week, but October. Until then, I will see you next time.